My daughter's teacher accused her of plagiarism on her science project. The Zoom call with my Nobel Prize-winning colleague left her speechless. I, 43M, have always tried to maintain a delicate balance between pushing my kids to excel and letting them find their own way. My daughter, a high school sophomore who's always had a passion for science, came home last month absolutely beaming about her science fair project idea. She wanted to explore the implications of recent quantum computing breakthroughs on potential cancer treatments. Ambitious, yes, but she's always aimed high. She spent weeks researching, staying up late reading papers, and drafting her proposal. I offered guidance when asked but made sure this remained her project. As someone who works in scientific research myself, I know how important it is for young scientists to develop their own voice and ideas. When she submitted her proposal, I was genuinely impressed. It showed sophisticated understanding and creative connections between fields that even some of my colleagues would appreciate. I felt that swell of parental pride seeing your kid excel at something they're passionate about. Then came the email from her science teacher. I need to speak with you regarding concerns about your daughter's science fair proposal. There are questions about the originality of the work. Please contact me to arrange a meeting. My daughter was devastated when I showed her the message. Her eyes welled up with tears as she insisted she hadn't copied anything. Dad, I cited everything properly. I worked so hard on this. Why doesn't she believe me? I believed her completely. I'd seen the hours she'd put in, watched her struggle with complex concepts and ultimately find her way through them. This wasn't plagiarism. This was a teacher who couldn't believe a 16-year-old could produce work at this level. I'll handle this, I told her, trying to keep my growing anger in check. We'll sort it out. I replied to the email requesting a Zoom call and received a response suggesting a meeting the following afternoon. My daughter asked if she could be present, and I agreed. She deserved to defend her own work. The science teacher appeared on screen precisely on time, her expression severe behind wire-rimmed glasses. My daughter sat beside me, uncharacteristically quiet. Thank you for making time to discuss this matter, the teacher began formally. I've been teaching advanced science for 15 years, and I recognize when work exceeds the capabilities of my students. I felt my daughter tense beside me but gave her a reassuring glance before responding. I understand your concerns, I said carefully, but I can assure you my daughter did this work herself. I've seen her research process firsthand. The teacher's expression remained unchanged. With all due respect, the theoretical framework she's proposed incorporates concepts that are currently being explored at the graduate level. The connections made between quantum computing algorithms and protein folding simulations for targeted drug delivery are particularly sophisticated. This is well beyond high school level work. So your accusation is based on the quality of her work rather than any actual evidence of plagiarism? I asked, struggling to keep my tone neutral. I've run her proposal through our plagiarism detection software and nothing flagged directly, she admitted. But that doesn't mean she didn't have inappropriate levels of help. These ideas are remarkably similar to some cutting-edge research. My daughter finally spoke up, her voice quiet but steady. I cited all my sources. I read papers from MIT and the quantum computing group at the university. I didn't copy anything. I just tried to connect ideas that I thought made sense together. The teacher's eyebrows raised slightly. You expect me to believe a sophomore in high school understood academic papers from MIT? That's when I had an idea. My daughter didn't plagiarize anything, but she did have access to some resources that might not be typical, I explained. Would it be helpful if I brought in someone who could verify the originality and feasibility of her approach? The teacher nodded, though her skepticism remained evident. That might be helpful, yes. Perfect. Could we reconvene tomorrow, same time? I'd like to bring in a colleague of mine who's familiar with this research area. After agreeing to the follow-up meeting, we ended the call. My daughter immediately turned to me, a mix of confusion and hope on her face. Who are you going to bring? Dr. Martinez from your lab? I smiled. No, I'm thinking of someone with a bit more authority on the subject. That evening, I made a call to an old friend and colleague from my postdoc days, now a professor at MIT, and more relevantly, a Nobel Prize winner for his work on quantum applications in biological systems. We'd stayed in touch over the years, and he'd always had a soft spot for educational outreach. When I explained the situation, he was more than happy to help. Send me her proposal, he said. I'd like to read it before the meeting. Later that night, I received his email response. This is genuinely impressive work for anyone, let alone a high school student. Some rough edges, naturally, but the core insights show real understanding. I'd be delighted to speak with her teacher. The next day, my daughter and I sat down for the follow-up Zoom call. The teacher joined promptly, her expression suggesting she was prepared for a routine parent trying to defend their child. I appreciate you making time for this follow-up, I began. As mentioned, I've asked a colleague to join us who can speak to the concepts in my daughter's proposal. I sent a text, and moments later, our third participant joined the call. Even through the screen, the recognition was immediate. The teacher's eyes widened as she realized exactly who had joined us. "Good afternoon," my friend greeted warmly. "I'm delighted to discuss this young scientist's work. I've reviewed her proposal in detail." The teacher seemed momentarily speechless, then gathered herself. "This is unexpected. Thank you for joining us, Professor. Your work is, of course, well known to our department. Let me get straight to the point," he continued. "This proposal shows remarkable originality. While it builds on existing research, as all good science does, the connections made between quantum computing approaches and cancer treatment pathways represent novel thinking. There are elements here that, with refinement, could potentially contribute to the field." He went on to highlight specific aspects of my daughter's proposal, explaining where her ideas aligned with current research and where she'd made creative leaps. Throughout his explanation, my daughter's expression shifted from anxiety to growing confidence, while her teacher's face registered increasing surprise. "The technical understanding isn't perfect," he acknowledged, "which is entirely expected for a student at this stage of education. But the scientific intuition displayed here is precisely what we hope to see in young researchers. This is unquestionably original work, though obviously informed by existing literature, which appears to be properly cited." The teacher cleared her throat. "I appreciate your assessment, Professor. I certainly never expected to have work evaluated by someone of your caliber. Science education is a passion of mine," he replied simply. "And nurturing genuine scientific curiosity is something I take seriously." He turned to address my daughter directly. "You have a promising approach here. If you'd like, I could put you in touch with a doctoral student in my lab who's working on related problems. They might be able to suggest some resources to help refine your methodology." My daughter's face lit up. "Really? That would be amazing." The teacher, now looking thoroughly uncomfortable, shifted in her seat. "Well, this certainly provides a different perspective. I apologize if I jump to conclusions. Scientific skepticism is valuable," my friend replied diplomatically. "But so is recognizing potential, even when it appears in unexpected places." After a few more minutes of discussion about how to proceed with the project, we thanked him for his time, and he left the call with a promise to email my daughter some additional resources. Once it was just the three of us again, the teacher's professional demeanor had completely transformed. "I owe you both an apology," she said, looking genuinely contrite. "I made assumptions that were unfair. Your proposal was so advanced that I couldn't believe it came from a student without significant outside help." My daughter, to her credit, responded graciously. "I understand why you were suspicious." "It's okay." "It's not okay," the teacher insisted. "I should have asked questions before making accusations. Your project is approved, of course, and I'd be happy to provide whatever support you need moving forward." After wrapping up the call, my daughter turned to me with a mix of emotions on her face. "Dad, I can't believe you actually called him. That was wow." I shrugged. "Sometimes people need a reality check. You did the work, you deserve to be taken seriously." She was quiet for a moment. The teacher seemed really embarrassed. "She made a mistake," I said carefully. "Teachers are human too. The important thing is she acknowledged it and is now supporting your project." "Do you think he really meant it? About connecting me with someone from his lab?" "Absolutely. He doesn't make offers like that lightly." True to his word, my daughter received an email the next day introducing her to one of his doctoral students. Over the following weeks, they had several video calls discussing her project, and her understanding of the subject deepened considerably. The science fair came 2 months later. My daughter's project didn't win the top prize. That went to a practical engineering solution for local water quality issues. But she received special recognition from the university judges and an invitation to tour the quantum computing lab at the state university. More importantly, she learned several valuable lessons. That her ideas had merit, that authorities aren't always right, and that having someone believe in you makes all the difference. As for her teacher, the experience seemed to change something in her approach. I heard from other parents that she'd become more encouraging of ambitious projects and quicker to offer resources, rather than skepticism, when students wanted to tackle advanced concepts. Yesterday, nearly a year after all this happened, my daughter rushed into the house waving an acceptance letter for a selective summer program in computational biology at MIT. The recommendation letter from my Nobel laureate friend certainly helped, but it was her project and subsequent work that truly earned her the spot. As she excitedly called her friends to share the news, I thought about how different things might have been if we'd simply accepted the teacher's judgment. Sometimes standing up for yourself means finding the right allies who can help others see what you're truly capable of. And sometimes, just sometimes, the satisfaction of watching someone realize how wrong they were is its own special kind of reward. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.